The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome back into the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. Time to talk some DraftKings. We got DFS Week 1 tight ends and defenses today. Let's jump right into the tight ends here. The first tight end, we got 3 tight ends for you. The first one, George Kittle. George Kittle's the number 3 tight end option this week on DraftKings, taking on the Detroit Lions. $6,300 for him.
If I'm paying up for a tight end, it's going to be George Kittle, solely because I think he will be great no matter what happens. I see a path where Tyreek Hill has a really good game against Cleveland, and maybe Kelce gets slowed down, maybe doesn't get in the end zone, maybe CEH snipes a touchdown from him. If I'm paying up for tight end this week, it's George Kittle against Detroit. In spite of the blowout risk, I pretty much like every weapon for the San Francisco 49ers this week, which is slowly but surely making me like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
I don't want to, but I'm starting to.
You going to resist that urge?
Oh, 100%. There are other cheap quarterbacks that I like.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like gas station sushi. I see it and go, ooh, that'd be good. And then I remember, I would like to be able to sit down for the next 2 days, so I don't do it.
Right. And by the way, check out the playlist. If you missed the cheap quarterbacks for this week on DFS plays, check out the playlist. George Kittle, $6,300 at the Detroit Lions.
George Kittle's he's not budget breaking. I can still get to high-end options at other places.
Okay.
Kelce's $2,000 more. And every other tight end is at least $1,400 cheaper than Kittle. So I'm not going to see myself I'll have 10% exposure to Kittle. It's not going to be crazy, but I'll have a little bit.
All right, he's the one top-end option this week. Number 2 DFS play for Week 1 at tight end, Zach Ertz.
This is the one I'm going to have about 60% exposure to because he's going to be really low-owned. Atlanta is not good against tight ends, and Zach Ertz is the one you want. They're trying to make it clear that they've reconciled with Zach Ertz. What's contract here? Zach Ertz is not going to look like he did last year. Everybody seems to have just thrown this baby out with the bathwater because he had one bad year with 2 quarterbacks that looked like they were it looked like they were sitting in the middle of the pocket in the middle of 85 during rush hour. So I don't quite understand why everybody's off Zach Ertz. I can tell you 2 people that aren't. The price makers at DraftKings and Vegas. They're not off Zach Ertz, and neither am I. They called me the tight end whisperer for a reason. You can listen to me or you can not. Just remember, when Zach Ertz scores a touchdown, that's all he really needs to pay off his salary.
Okay. And the number 1 tight end option this week, according to Mr. Jeremy Greene, Flowstradamus himself, Kyle Pitts, $4,400, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles.
A lot of people say you never play rookie tight ends. I agree with that. I've said that a lot of times. The thing about Kyle Pitts is that he's not really a rookie tight end. He's a tight end in name. He's going to play closer to a wide receiver. Name me who's going to stop him. I'll wait. He's a 6'6", 260-pound man that runs a 4.4 flat 40. He's a freak of nature, and he's going to run as the 2. He's going to be the Julio Jones in this offense. That at tight end for $4,400 in a position that, let's be honest, is really annoying on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to have that. The one thing that would keep me, I'm going to have about 30-ish% exposure to Kyle Pitts. The only thing that would scare me on him is that he is going to be stupidly high-owned.
Right.
Thing about high-owned players, if they bust and you don't have them, yay! If they hit and you don't have them, oh, shit! And there's not another tight end that's this cheap that has that level of upside.
What about Mr. Touchdown Machine Robert Tonyan? He's $4,200 this week.
Yeah, and I don't hate it. That's the problem with most tight ends. They're touchdown dependent.
Okay.
That's kind of fluky. I don't love him going up against Marcus Williams. There are a lot of things to not love the matchup with Tonyan. I'm not going to tell you not to play him. Yeah. I'm just saying he's not in the player pool for me. Okay. I will have 0% exposure to Robert Tonyan.
Just because of the boom or bust capabilities, touchdown dependency.
When you have a touchdown dependent tight end like Tonyan, it all plays into the matchups. I don't love this matchup. I love this matchup for a couple other pieces of that offense. I don't necessarily think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to look anything like Tampa and Dallas looked.
Right.
It won't be that level of shootout, and I think it would have to be for Tunyon to get into that Kyle Pitts, Zach Ertz territory for me.
Okay. Let's talk about defenses in week 1. Your number 3 defense option in DFS, the Denver Broncos.
They're probably the highest scoring defense of the week because I think they're going to beat the Giants' brains out. I understand it's West Coast coming east. When Daniel Jones is your quarterback, none of that shit matters to me.
Right.
I like the pass rush. I think they're going to be able to turn Daniel Jones over because, well, that's what he does. The reason they're 3 is they're more expensive. I do not like paying up for defenses. They have to score a touchdown to pay it off, and to assume that's going to happen is a fool's errand to me. Do I understand why people do it? Sure. I would say they probably have the highest likelihood of scoring a touchdown this week. There are 2 cheap-ass defenses that I am a little higher on.
Well, let's talk about the next one, and that's one of those that falls into that category, the Jacksonville Jaguars against the hapless Houston Texans.
Yeah, there's some shit I never thought I was going to say out loud. The Jaguars, I understand it's on the road. I understand the Jaguars are bad. I also understand that Tyrod Taylor is the starting quarterback of the Houston Texans. And this might be the quietest home stadium you've ever heard in your life. The momentum of this franchise has been sucked out of its asshole. I didn't mean to make that punny with Deshaun Watson, but I did.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Wow.
I know you weren't, because you'd have laughed harder if you were. I wasn't trying to do that, but I did, and I'm okay with it. I'll allow it. Houston's just listless.
Yeah.
They're a listless franchise. Jacksonville's cheap. I don't see them giving up a lot of points. I think this game's going to be gross and ugly, and I could easily see you getting double-digit points out of the Jaguars' defense, which is more than enough to pay off $2,700. Yeah. They're going to be slightly high-owned. I'm going to level with defenses in the first week of the season. Stop trying to be contrarian with your defense. If you're trying to outthink the field, it's going to cost you. Won't cost you a lot, but outthinking the field is a fool's errand early in the season.
Yeah. And the number 1 defense for DFS this week, you got the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons. They're the cheapest defense on the slate. They're the cheapest defense on the slate. And they're playing the second worst team. I get Jalen Hurts against a defense that, do I think it's going to be good? No. But with Deion Jones, with Dante Fowler, I think they're going to be able to get after Jalen Hurts. I think they'll rattle him. Jalen Hurts is good for an interception or 2. He's good for a fumble. For me, this is a no-brainer. Yeah. I'll have 75% plus exposure to Atlanta because they're so damn cheap.
Yeah.
And you're saving me over $1,000 over Denver. And I would say the Falcons are going to throw I would say on the low side, they're going to throw a 7 or an 8. High side, they could throw a 20.
Yep.
And then it's, bonanza!
All right, there's your defense and tight end plays for DFS in week 1. Here's the full slate of tips from Mr. Flowstradamus.
That's the player pool. That's what I will be selecting my rosters from. I will have high exposure to everybody on that list. I have studied this slate aggressively. One of my parting tips on DraftKings for this week, consider going more balanced lineup because there's going to be a lot of stars and scrubs. You're going to see a lot of Christian McCaffrey. You're going to see a lot of Dalvin Cook. Consider maybe going James Robinson, Antonio Gibson, and Damian Harris. With Jameis Winston at quarterback, maybe a little Adam Troutman at tight end, maybe double stack tight ends with Zach Ertz, and then go hammer time on the wide receivers.
Right.
That's going to be a contrarian look this week, and I have a funny feeling that's what the winner of the Millionaire is going to look like this week.
All right, well, best of luck to you in your DFS plays. Don't forget you can play against Jeremy Greene in our winner take half contest. Again, half of the money going to Eblin Charities St. Nicholas Project. They do all they can to make sure that needy families in the Buncombe County area have what they need to give their kids a good Christmas each and every year. It's a great charity, near and dear to my heart. Get in on the 2 different contests. We got the $5 contest, the $20 contest, and the winner gets half. The other half goes to Eblin Charities St. Nicholas Project. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. Best of luck to you this weekend, and we'll see you for week 2.